Hello, my name is Luckybutt. I'm a actor as well as a bunch of other stuff, but most importantly, for this channel, I am a GM for my friends, or I used to be. Anyways, uh, why do I have to say and preface that I'm a GM or was a GM? Well, as you saw and can read the title, we're talking about GMs for hobby or hire. Now, this topic came because I came upon a Reddit post about how paid GMing or DMing is ruining the hobby. And I, as someone who has played since college, have something to say a little bit about it. And don't try to guess my age. Anyways, I'll try to link the original Reddit post down below if I can find it, or if I remember to put it. But first off, the poster made it clear that they weren't talking about paid jamming in terms of jamming at a convention, but more in terms of long running campaigns and one shots. Now, as for myself, I am not saying one is bad or one isn't bad, nor am I going to say what is and isn't ruining the hobby. What I will say is what I did notice. And what I did notice was that the paid GMing happens mostly in online games where there are a crap ton of paid GMs and DM services, but it is mostly on the VTTs that require a subscription that really drives that point home of pay to play. Granted, I browsed through Reddit, Foundry, LFG, and Roll20, but uh, in the defense of Foundry, Foundry you do have to pay for, and well, at the time of this video, and I think until their services are closed, I think it will stay and remain a paid virtual tabletop, where the GM is the only one that has to pay using their IP and their hard-earned cash. IP? VPN? IP? Intellectual property? No. What's that one thing where everyone has like their like you know like address, not you know is that IP? I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, um, unless they are paying for a VPN service as well as the VTT. Now, I don't know how much a VPN service costs because I never paid for one, and I could look it up, but I'm too lazy to do that because there's way too many out there. And I do have a life outside of YouTube, guys. So I'm not gonna look it up. But what I did look up was how much the GMs are charging per player. And it ranged from like $10 to I think I did a quick scope and I thought it was the most expensive was about $30 to $50. Foundry VTT is $50 in and of itself, and the risk of your internet security being breached because keep this in mind, these GMs are strangers to the players and you don't do background checks on them, so you don't know if they're gonna get hacked or reach any type of security levels. Now, is it too much to pay for these services or too little? I don't know. I guess it really depends on how much the GM puts into their prep during the session. Prep and during the session. But if they do have multiple tables they are running, I'm not sure how dedicated they are to the players that are paying for these services. Now, as a forever GM, well, I guess semi forever GM, forever if I'm with my friends, semi if I play online, it's hard to find a game that I could play for free, excluding, and I mean free as in like just playing on table, excluding buying a book, time, energy, etc., etc., etc. Now, even if I just wanted to try out Foundry, and if it would be something like to see if it would be something I could, want to run for my friends or for my players, or if I would go to Roll20 where I don't need to pay. Now, the big but is if you don't have friends and can't convince people to play, the only option are technically these paid games. And I guess if you can't drive anywhere, and if you're driving somewhere, then are you really jamming at cons? I guess you can jam at cons. You just need to know how to drive while you're handicapped or go on buses or have friends that go to cons. Scratch what I said. But yes, anyways. Um hmm. But if you don't have friends that can convince people, these these paid games are kind of your only option, and that kind of sucks, you know? I mean, you can always go on Roll 20, but it's harder to find these games that are free. And at least you know that you have a game to come back to next week, because for the most of these paid GMs, it's kind of like a side hustle that they enjoy, and they will most likely be professional about it, I hope. And yes, there's free ones on Roll20, but I will be straight up honest with you and tell you many times as a GM, I just didn't have the inspiration or the motivation for the next session, or I was tired from the other weeks, and I was doing something for free. So, you know. Anyways, granted, that may happen when I was younger and just started playing, or not started playing, but started GMing, or I guess DMing, since I was playing the one with double D's. Uh, but all in all, I would say no. I don't think it's ruining the hobby, but I do think it is an extra barrier for those that want to play a tabletop RPG. Maybe for new players, it might be an extra barrier. For people that don't have friends, it might be an extra barrier. For people that, don't have the money. Why are we gatekeeping these games? You bought the VTT, at least you have people to play it with. I bought a VTT, I don't have people to play with it right now. I made all these campaigns, and I love them, but don't have players. Anyways, but why not just. But if you don't want to pay for these, here's some options. You can A. Convince your players, convince your friends to play or try it. Why not run a one shot for them? One shots are great. They only last 2 hour to 4 hour like a normal campaign, except you don't need to come back and reschedule over and over again and whatever. Anyways, can't get inspiration like me? Run a pre-made adventure. There's so many that D&D printed or Paizo printed or Hasbro printed or did Blazing the Dark print any? I don't know. Daggerheart has a couple in their even in their book. Settings wise. Or if you're the forever GM like me and you want to play a game and be a player, check out your local game store's Facebook page. It's old school, but I'm pretty sure people still play games in person. Plus, it's more fun to roll physical dice than clicking a button and falling asleep in front of the computer waiting for the analysis paralysis player to use their three actions. Yeah, not me, who fell asleep during a session one time and got caught out because we don't have webcams on and it's just mic, and I just go on the floor and sleep while waiting until it's my turn. Anyways, okay, I'm done. See ya. Bye.